G'day, welcome back to another episode of Togl. Well, we've got a glorious day up here today. The weather's beautiful because we've had a few days of rainy weather. I've had a few days of pretty strong wind too, and I'm glad to see that all my olive trees are still standing and those frames around them are still standing, so that's a good thing. Anyway, as I said, beautiful day up here today. I've also got a very busy day up here today. You see, today's Sunday, and on Friday my sister and my cousin and their husbands are going to arrive, and they're going to spend a few days on the block here with me, and our plan is to start getting the camp kitchen built. So it's a project that the whole family can get into. The thing is, it's supposed to rain Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, possibly Thursday. They get here Friday, so I've got to get all of my preparation that I haven't done yet. I've got to get that done today, and I didn't get a lot of preparation done last week because we had a lot of rain then too. As we're moving into winter, it's getting cooler, we're starting to get a lot more of the wet weather. One of the things is though, I've got to get across the culvert down the back there that I built. We've had a lot of rain, it's going to be pretty muddy and slick, so it's going to be interesting to see if I can get across that with the tractor. Got a couple of ideas up my sleeve if it doesn't work the first time, as always, so we'll see how we go. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this episode. We'll see how much we get done. Cheers. Well, as I thought, the car didn't want to make it. The tractor's got no hope, but I got the winch, so I'm going to winch the car up. Then I'm going to turn the car around and I'll be able to use that to winch the tractor up if need be. Fingers crossed, we'll see how we go. I could go to that tree right there, but if I've got the length to get me up to the back tree, I might as well do the whole lot in one run, eh? A great way to start the morning, eh? I suspected this was what was going to happen, so it's cool. I was prepared for it. I was going to bring you down and show you from a different angle. It's slick clay. It's so slippery. Even for me walking on it, it's slippery. So don't have a lot of hope, but she just slid straight over to the right because it's slightly lower down there on the right, and it definitely wasn't going up that embankment. So let's hope the winch can pull it out, eh? We'll see how we go. Well. That was even tougher than I expected. It is so slick down there. Like, my boots are just covered in mud. Or clay, it's just sticky clay. And every inch of that is just so slippery. But we got there. I got the car up to the other side, undamaged, which is nice. So what I'll be able to do now, because the tractor definitely ain't going up there, I'll swing the car around and then I'll use the winch. I'm pretty sure I've got a remote for the winch in the glove box. I'll use the winch from the car to help pull the tractor up, and then I'll have the tractor up there and the car up there, and that's where I need to be to get the work done today. So like I said, things don't always go to plan. I could have cut this out and made out like I just drove across, but I didn't. So we'll get on with it. Okay, got the tractor here ready to go now. Down on the bottom right, where it had dropped off to the side, I filled that up with a lot of rocks out of the creek just to try and level it up a bit. I'm not expecting to get very far at all. I'm expecting I will probably only get maybe 60 centimeters up the slope on the other side before she just stops, and then I'm going to have to get that winch sorted out again. I've got the entire winch cord plus a 20-meter snatch strap, so all stretched out. That should be enough to keep the car up nice and high and hopefully pull the tractor up. But I'll show you how we go. It's taken a while. It's been about an hour already, so let's get stuck into it and see how we go. Well, do I look pleased with myself? Hell yes. It just walks straight up. I'm really surprised. Maybe the Triton just cleared all of the slick mud off the top and left that nice solid base. I have no idea, but that tractor just crawled all the way up, and I've had that tractor stuck in there before, so I know it's not that easy. Very shocked, but hey, that's probably just saved me a good half hour, 45 minutes and a whole heap of effort, so I'm ecstatic. Now I can get on with what we're doing over the other side. So let me show you what we're going to do over there. So that last little bit was from where I came up at the top of that road and then just across through the campground area down to this area. So this area here is where we're going to put the camp kitchen. It's going to stretch right around the back here like that. Should be, if I plan it right and if we can build it right, it should have two sides and then a flat like this running around the back there. So this is where we're going to be working. So now I just got to walk back and get the tractor and bring it up, and then I'll start pegging the area out. All right, well, I've just spent about half hour, 45 minutes mapping out where the camp kitchen's going to go. Just basically had to use a bit of creative mathematics, and you measure, make sure all your sides are the same, but then you also need to make sure that the diagonal corners are the same, because you can have your square, and if it's tilted like that, then the distance from here down to that corner is going to be a lot different than from this corner up to there. So by slowly straightening it up until you've got your two diagonals the same, and you know that all your sides are the same, then you've got your perfect rectangle or square, in this case rectangle. So I marked out the left rectangle and then the right rectangle, and then what I did was I chose a point way out the front and ran a line to both of those inner corners, and then I kept moving this front point around until both of those lines were exactly the same, and that enabled me to make those two marks on the two sides that are coming in, and make the two marks to make the front edge, and everything should be, fingers crossed, everything should be symmetrical, and you can see roughly that pattern from that drone footage that as I was explaining that. So the next thing I need to do is get the post holes dug with the tractor, so I'll get them put in, then I'll send the drone up for another quick look. You'll see how that layout is, and that's as much as I'm going to do on the camp kitchen for the moment. It'll be laid out, the holes will be dug, then once everyone gets here we can organise about getting the frames built and getting the frames erected. I have another task I need to do this afternoon, and I'll show you that one in a little while. Well, 12 holes needed to be dug, pretty much like when I had to plant the olive trees the other day. Only those 12 holes took me about 20 minutes. Soil's nice up there. Soil here, bloody more rocks than soil. Am I pissed off? Too right. It took me probably 10 minutes to get the first 3 holes done, and it has taken me 4 hours to do the other 9. Some holes, one rock in particular, took me an hour to get out. The post hole digger can't go past the rocks. As soon as it strikes the rocks, it starts jumping around. Then I've got to dig them out by hand. I've spent more time digging out by hand than I have using the post hole digger on the tractor. So I've just wasted 4 hours. I've got the holes there, but they're all twice as wide as they should be. They're not as deep as they should be, and they've been a huge amount of effort. But they're in now. It's what we need for the camp kitchen. Problem now is though, those holes, I don't know, the camp kitchen might look a bit wonky because the holes, they don't end up where you want them to be. You can mark it out to the centimetre, and the way that the thing jumps around, you end up with your holes a foot apart from where they should be. So we'll just put it in there and we'll see how it goes anyway. I couldn't be bothered with it at the moment. The holes are there. It'll have to do. I've got other things I need to get done. Right now I need to have some lunch. Okay, well, I just took the tractor back over to the other side because I wanted to get the backhoe on there. This one last task that I've got to do today requires the backhoe. My one concern was the backhoe's a lot heavier than the post hole digger. Will it make it up? No, it won't. We've had no rain today. Mind you, it hasn't dried out any, but yeah, with the backhoe on the back, it's not working. So I've got the car in the background there. I've dragged the winch out, and I'll take you down here. So I don't know if you can see there the winch line on the ground. So the winch is running down, and I'll turn this around, running straight down here to the tractor. So she got up, she just couldn't quite get over this lump, and that's normally what happens, is that it'll get up to this point right here and then it just can't get over this lump. That's why I want to get that section built up a bit higher, and then I'll scrape a little bit of this section out to get it more level so that there is no hump. Anyway, what I'm going to do is, the tractor has 2 sets of gears. So let me just show you in here. So right here you've got gears 1 to 4, And that's like, well, it's the speeds, but think of like a 10-speed racer where you got your front gears and your back gears, I guess. So I've got on the right hand stick there 1 to 4 in reverse. This over here on the left, the PTO, I only ever use 1 on that, and that's actually to drive whatever I've got on the back, whether it be the post hole digger or the backhoe. So generally that just stays in neutral. So if I go to 1 on this and 1 on this, that's 1 and 1, that's like the lowest reduction. And literally it's like a walking pace is twice as fast as what that is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick it into that gear, and it'll just slowly start to try and idle itself. Meanwhile, I will come up here, because I don't have a remote for the winch, I can't find it, so I will come up here and operate the winch to help pull it up. We'll see how we go getting this up. And that's how you winch yourself out. So you could see, you might have noticed that the slack, we'd get some slack in the winch strap there, and that was because I'd stopped pulling up at that end, but the tractor was still very slowly creeping forward, so it just needed that little bit of help to get over the top. But anyway, let's go on to the next task, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that piece of white pipe that was on the tractor. Okay, time for the last task of the day. It is 4:45, so I don't have long. This is what I need to do, and this is why I got that pipe. So this area here, this is, I believe it used to be an old dam wall. You can see that it drops off quite steep down into this gully. So this looks like it was a dam wall, and the area all in through here, in behind all these ferns, is very flat. It just looks like it's silted up. It's literally at like a water level in there. So the plan, this is my plan. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the backhoe. I'm going to dig a channel right across here. Just over here to the left, I'm going to dig a channel. Any water that's seeping down through here will be caught into this channel. And then I'll dig this in, this pipe, pull these timbers out, and then get that pipe in there, and then all the water's going to flow where the pipe is, and we can eliminate all of this swampy, marshy area that we don't want. And then that's going to enable me to get backwards and forwards over this area a hell of a lot easier. In the long run, what I'd like to do is actually build the dam wall up, build it up to a height probably up at about that level there. So what I'd need to do, that pipe has a cap fitting on the end of it. So what I can do is, when I'm ready, once I've got all this area dug out, I can cap that off once the dam wall's built as the water level fills up. And then what I'll need to do is, when I get the dam wall up to yay level, I'll need to put a few pipes in and then build it up just a little bit above that again. That way the water won't flow over the dam wall. It'll actually flow through the top level of pipes. That's the plan anyway. So I haven't got much time left. I need to get onto this. So I'm going to flash up the backhoe and start digging. And here's that night footage that I wasn't able to get on the last video. Good evening. That was a big day up on the block today. Glad to be back, had a hot shower, had a meal, feeling very weary at the moment. But a part of the whole living off grid thing, and something that I've thought about for the last year or two, is whenever I'm making a meal, how much of that can I actually provide for myself? And one of the things that you have on almost every meal is salt and pepper. Now we know we can do the pepper because we've got all those peppercorns, and I've dried them and ground them up and used them, and man, that pepper is zingy. I love it. It's really good. What about salt? Salt gets made from seawater. So I did a little bit of research, and I've just been experimenting in the last day or two. with some seawater. So I've got some nice clean seawater. I mean, Tasmania's got beautiful seawater. It's just crystal clear, not polluted at all. If you're going to do what I'm doing, I would recommend that you make sure 100% you've got some nice pure seawater with no contaminants. But check this out. So for a few hours I was reducing down this water. So this was a couple of litres of seawater. It's obviously hit the point where the solution can no longer hold the salt. And now look at all these beautiful salt flakes that are starting to form. That's all just pure salt. So what I've learned though is that you don't want to boil the hell out of it. You've just got to have it on the lowest setting you can. Not even really a simmer, just enough that you can see the steam rising off it. That means that the water is disappearing, and that's what you want. You want the water to be gone and leave the salt behind. So yeah, very impressed. There's a decent amount of salt out of that. That was just a couple of litres of seawater. Yeah, it looks like there's going to be quite a lot of salt in that. So yeah, looking forward to getting this and then drying it right out, getting it nice and flaky, and then using some of it and seeing how it is. But yeah, look at all that salt. All about being self-sufficient. G'day. Well, I'm back up at the block. It's the next day. It was supposed to rain today, but it actually held off. This morning was really sunny. It was nice, but I had a few other things I needed to take care of. So, but it still hadn't started raining, so I thought I'd pop up here for the afternoon, see if I get a little bit more work done. Now, what I've been doing, I'll just quickly show you. As I was saying yesterday with that dam, well, not so much the dam, but the wall. So I've been digging dirt out of here because pretty much this is where I want the dam wall height to be, probably at about there. So as this drops away, I'll end up putting this as a full wall. But for now, I'm taking the dirt out of that area up there and bringing it down and dropping it in over the top. So if anyone was thinking, why are you dumping all of that sloppy, messy mud on top that you're then going to want to drive through? Well, that's okay, because it made a good base. Now I'm putting this red soil on top, and as I get more and more of this on, it's proven to be a lot better. Making a good base there. See, a little bit's coming through there, but that's because I've only put 1 or 2 scoops of red dirt on that, so I'll just keep going with the red scoop. I'll show you the level of flow that we're getting. As I said, this is just more of a seepage. The water's nice and clear now, but so that's about how much water is flowing. So it's only a little bit, but I guess it all adds up, and that's just beautiful spring water. It originates from about 100 meters up the hill. So back around. So yeah, so that's what I'm working on. So I'll show you a little bit of that. I'll just set the camera up and I'll just film a couple of loads of dirt being dug out and dumped down there, but you get the idea. Anyway, just thought I'd show you what I'm up to. G'day. I just thought I'd take a few moments out to pop up and show you this bush right here. This is another one of those bush foods. This one is called the pink mountain berry. Pretty original, I know. I didn't name it. So pink mountain berry. So this one is an edible. Let's have a look at it. So the berries are quite small, as you can see. Ow! And it's a really spiky bush too. So you need to be very careful of those leaves. Scientific names just down below, so you can see that. So yeah, it's just a tiny little pink berry. I think it's a member of the juniper family. Anyway, they're fairly bland, and they have a big seed in the middle too, so the majority of it is actually seed. Probably tastes, it's got a texture of like apple. Really doesn't have a flavour either. So, but there's a lot on that bush. I need to probably look up some recipes, see what you'd do with it. Can't imagine you'd use it for flavour because it really doesn't have much flavour. But again, like some of the other things, I guess if you needed to live on it, you can survive on it. Seems to me like so far the only real bush foods that we've got that have a good flavour, obviously the pepperberry, man, that's got a hell of a flavour. And that red currant has a mild flavour. But the other couple, like that purple appleberry and this pink mountain berry, yeah, not much flavour. I think you just use it for sustenance, but it's there anyway. For this one, I'd like to thank a good mate of mine, Al, who a few of you have sent me links for the bush tucker stuff, but Al sent me a link to a chart which is fantastic. It must list 40 or 50 different edible plants in Tasmania, all colour photographs. It was a really good link, so thanks for that, mate. And from that I was immediately able to re-identify this, because I had looked at it earlier and then I couldn't find any information on it again. So yeah, the pink mountain berry. Well, that's it again for yet another episode. In the next episode we'll get that camp kitchen started, and as I said, I'll have my sister and cousin and their husbands here, so the next episode should hopefully be a very exciting one. Let's hope it all goes to plan. So thanks again for watching, thanks for subscribing. I hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll catch up with you next week. Take care.